All right, guys, happy Monday. I can't believe it. It's November. I still have not found a really good spot to do a call yet until my office gets put together. So I'm coming to you live from the couch. And I'm really excited about tonight's call. And actually looking at I think pretty much everyone that's on tonight attended Super Saturday this last weekend, which is pretty exciting. So tonight's call is going to be pretty much my big takeaways from Super Saturday this last weekend. We had the awesome pleasure of listening to Ashley Feldison speak. And the funny thing is this is actually my second time hearing her at a Super Saturday. So a year ago, I attended Super Saturday in Albany in October. So same time of the year. And I went and I listened, and Ashley was the guest speaker. And the funny thing is that she talked and shared about her transformation last year, like from the beginning of the year to October. So if you guys don't know her story, pretty much she started 2018, like from 27 to 2018, she is literally like blew up her business. She went from a diamond to an in and out diamond and 1 star to a 10-star diamond coach in her first business center. Like Ashley, you know today. What? Someone say my name? Oh, I thought someone said AIM. Oh my God. So anyway, that weirded me out. So I just remember leaving that, like I have a picture that I took at that Super Saturday last year where I like was just so fired up from her story. It was like one of those experience, like again, like I cannot emphasize to you guys the power like of live events, of these local, any type of event that you can get in a room and you can just hear from these other coaches and you can just be around other people and hear other stories. Like it is so powerful. And I remember what she said last year was exactly what I needed to hear to, take that home and apply towards like that belief I needed so badly. And now this year to be able to like listen to her and to again see her and the growth that she's had and this last year with her team and just in herself, like to just see the contrast. Like I want you guys to really like take that in and understand that so much can change like in such a little amount of time. But really truly, like if you just look, if I look at like the difference between her then and her now, it's like her belief in herself and her belief in her team has just like skyrocketed. And I really truly believe like that's what it all comes down to, you guys. So I am going to share my screen. I made a little presentation.
Black shoes.
So when you hop on, just make sure you mute yourself. You guys see this okay? Yeah? Okay. All right. So pretty much what we're going to talk about tonight is what Ashley shared with us, and that is the art of our business. Okay. But I'm going to sort of tell it to you from my interpretation of what she shared. So when she first said this topic, I really was like, where is she going with this? But it really truly like couldn't have been more perfect, because I think so often like we just get so caught up in the frill, in the titles, in the actions. We think about the vital behaviors and things like that, but do we really truly like think about what those vital behaviors are, and do we really appreciate them? Like, do you see this business and see this opportunity for the amazing, beautiful gift that it is and what it actually is that we do every day? Not like first and foremost with our own lives, but how it is that we then spread that and pay this opportunity forward to others. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. First, I just want to go through some quick announcements. So if you didn't hear, they announced that the next Super Saturday is going to be the weekend of January 11th. So for you guys with your work schedules and things like that, make sure you mark that off now. So that way you can kind of keep an eye out. Just a little side tip. If you, let me read the chat. If you are, if you've been to a Super Saturday in your location and they've typically done the Super Saturday or whatever on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday, then they typically will do that again. Just a little FYI. So in Rochester, we tend to still keep it Saturday. Other places I know sometimes we'll do it Sunday or Friday. So just so you know that. Today actually is the last day for Summit ticket sale at the current price. So right now, today till midnight probably, it is $155. So obviously you guys, many of you who went to Super Weekend or Super Saturday for the first time this last weekend, who have been multiple times before, you guys already kind of can get the feel of what it's like to be at a live event. Like Summit truly is that, like 10x. Okay. Huge like investment for you and your business and just in your team and us as a team. I cannot speak highly enough about it. So if price is an issue for you, I would take advantage of this. It's only going to go up by $10 from here on out up until Summit in July. And then the last thing I want to touch on is 4 weeks of the prep. So I know a ton of you are jumping into the work right now, and that's awesome. I just wanted to like plug into you guys that the prep workouts are going to become available in January. So if you are thinking of hosting like another launch for the new year, just know that the prep workouts are going to become available in January, and that's only available to those who have early access. Okay, so just so that you can put that on your radar. Okay, so that's my announcements. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I just make sure you guys mute yourself when you hop on, okay? So I want to like just kind of like ask you guys, and if you can pop it in the chat, pop it in the chat, but like what do you in your opinion, like in your eyes, if someone asks you what is the art of what we do, like what is the art of our business, like what would you say? If you can just pop it in the chat, pop in the chat. All right, while you guys are typing that in the chat, I'm going to share with you guys what I think. Yeah, mindset. So Shannon said mindset. Our story. Yeah, how we portray everything. Exactly. Yeah, like how we show up. Being unapologetically ourselves, being able to share our story. Yeah. So when she asked this question, very much I related and agreed with a lot of what you guys just said. When I think about the art of like what we do, I think it's the fact that we truly like have this privilege. And this is where I truly like, I truly think of this as a gift. When things get hard and life happens and, setbacks happen and things, occur in my personal life or even in your business, like it's so easy, right? It's so easy to slip into this negative mindset. But when I think about like what we do and what I do every day, that's when I know that I could never walk away. because it's the art of our business. The fact that I literally, my job is to pour into myself. My job is to become the best version of myself every single day. Like, this is a part of who I am now. This is like something that I couldn't walk away from even if I wanted to. Like, it's too precious to like let go. And I think when you really start to think of it like that, like when you start to think about that this is not something that you have to do, but that you get to do, then it just changes the entire way that you think about going into your business every day, like going into your day in general. Okay. So the different aspects of like what we do, obviously we are health and fitness coaches, right? Like, we are health and fitness coaches. We help people lead happy, healthy, fulfilling lives. So like, think about like what we get to do with fitness, right? We get to transform our own health. How many of you, when you first started, were in a bad place, a worse off place when it came to your health, right? Maybe you had some weight to lose, or maybe you were on some medication. Maybe you were, struggling with just your body image. Maybe you're struggling with your overall just confidence with yourself. Like, we get the ability through fitness, we get to show people how we are able to transform ourselves, how we're able to transform our mindset, our bodies. We show people how we lean into these things to help us get through and get beyond like those limitations. Like with our nutrition, I mean, I can speak for myself, like nutrition was a huge one for me. Nutrition is such a huge thing for so many people, you guys. And like, we get to learn how to properly fuel our bodies. I can honestly tell you that I did not properly fuel my body and did not know how to properly fuel my body before this opportunity came along. If it weren't for coaching, I don't think that I would like be so accountable with myself to treat myself, to come back to the principles that I know that make me feel my best, right? I think coaching is just that extra layer of accountability. It allows us to just really truly be teachers, right? Be mirrors for other people. And then our mindset, you guys, like, it's not just who you're impacting by when you show up every day and you share that, show up on social media, you share that post, you should get on your stories. Like, you are touching lives every single day. And you're honestly, I think most of the time we're thinking about those people yet that we haven't even met. We're thinking about the people on social media, but you haven't even thought about the people that are in your immediate surroundings. Think about your coaches. Think about the challengers in your challenge group. Think about your family, your spouses. Like, you are changing their mindset. And it's something that you can't always automatically see, or that you don't always realize, but you're making a huge impact. You're making this ripple effect around you because of the actions and the growth that you are actively creating in your own life, right? And like, that's such an amazing thing when you think about it. Like, you have the ability to impact people's lives in a positive way every single day, So one of the things she talked about is the mentality and the mindset of those who quit. So it's no shocker. It's no it's just a reality of this business. Business isn't for everyone. That's okay. That's actually a really great thing. But, and I can totally agree with her, and just in her perception, these are the the characteristics of, or mindset thoughts of people that tend to come into this business and tend to quit. And honestly, it's because, and I've totally been guilty of this, is focusing on the frill, focusing on the recognition, focusing on being on that leaderboard and being on that side of, being shouted out by your upline. being, reaching that rank and having that title or going to on those trips, whatever, all these are great things. Like all of these are amazing things, right? Like, but when you focus, like, for example, elite, and this is something that this made me think of, is like, I've been so focused on the title of elite, on the accomplishment of elite, that I forgot that if I focus on the things that I love, the things that, like, of what I do, the art of this business, then elite in those frilly things are just naturally going to come, like there's no chance that, there's just literally, like, there's no doubt that elite will happen as long as you focus on the why that got you here, on the thing that you love, the things that you love about what you do, the beauty of what it is that we do, right? That impact that I'm able to make with my coaches and my team, like focusing on my own journey and being my best self every day, all those things like that, the frill will come as long as you focus on those things. But the coaches that quit, they only focus on those things. They don't have that vision. They don't have that belief. They don't have that focus in on the actual fundamental things that we do, and they're not obsessed and in love with it, right? So, of course, like then, they don't hit Success Club, or maybe they come in, the example she used is, Success Starter. And, someone comes in and they just set their mind on, like, all right, I'm going to be a success starter. Okay. So they change their 3 lives the first month, and then they're like, okay, cool. And then they just coast the rest of the month. All right, checkbox done. Then they go into the next month, and then they just get to their, maybe it's like a little bit towards the end of the month, and they just make, Success Club again. And they're just so relieved. And now they're like, okay, I just need 1 more month. And then they, again, like, go into the month, like, no momentum, just scrambling, trying to just get those 3 lives so they can get that title of Success Star, get that ticket. And then what happens? They got the title, they got the recognition. What's going to keep them going forward? Like, when you're only in this, you guys, for the titles are not going to be there all the time. What are you going to do when you drop rank? What are you going to do when you set that goal for SC 50 and you only get SC 30? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to, like, are you not worthy now because you didn't achieve the accomplishment that you wanted to set, because you missed the mark, like, if you only focus on the titles, you guys, like, that's not going to fill your cup every day. So what happens then, you guys, is like, when you miss those marks, or when you're only focused on those superficial things, then when things get hard, you're not going to show up, right? Those people don't show up every day in their business. Or, as soon as something happens, as soon as they don't hit Success Club, or as soon as they, don't hit whatever when they think they're going to hit it, they stop the gas, right? They start making excuses. They start blaming, right? They blame the business for their lack of success. I'm sure oops, sorry guys. Sorry, honey. Where'd my thing go? Okay. All right. So where was I? Yeah. So they start blaming the business for their lack of success instead of actually focusing back on themselves and thinking about what are their actions actually matching the vision and the goals that they have, right? So the other thing that she talked about is, like, there is no perfect coach. Like, there is nothing separating you, or separating Sally, or separating Susan, or separating whoever from being that super successful coach, right? The only thing that holds us back is our belief that we actually are worthy enough to be that successful coach. I think so oftentimes another thing that holds people back is feeling like they don't have a story, feeling like they don't have a story, don't have a transformation, like don't have anything to say. Like, oh, I'm, there's nothing like special about me. You guys, like there's every single one, like the Ashley Molstad said, and that if you've seen that video, you definitely, if you haven't seen that video, definitely go watch it. Her speech at the leadership conference this last February. Every top coach, like every excuse that you have, there's a top coach that's proving you wrong, right? Like you didn't have supportive spouse, or you didn't have a weight loss transformation. You like whatever you want to come up with, you guys. You don't have to have some extravagant story to be able to relate to people. And that was a hard lesson that I had to learn. It's a hard lesson that I still am learning, that my story is relevant to the people that are like me. You're not trying to speak to the masses, you guys. You're not trying to help everyone. You're trying to help people that relate to you. And you don't need to have some super long, sad story or this super complicated, you don't have to have anything extravagant for someone to connect to you. I bet if you went and asked all of your coaches and people that signed up with you the reasons why they signed up with you, it would blow you away with why they actually said yes to you. And I bet you it had nothing to do with the fact that, it was some extravagant detail about your story. All right. So only thing that you need is to own your story and have the courage to share it. Right? That's all you got to do. So then many of you, I think, have probably read this book. But if you haven't, I definitely think that you need to put it on your to read, listen to list for the next couple months. And that's the 10X rule. Pretty much anything Grant Cardone. And that's another lesson, another takeaway that I'll forever remember from Ashley, from her call that she did for us earlier on this year. I remember asking her, like, what did you listen to? Like, what helped you get into like the leadership mindset? And she said, Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. And I remember reading that book and it feeling like so outside my like zone of comfort. Like everything that man is, the energy that he has was so like left field from where I was at. And that was exactly why I needed to listen to that book. And that's exactly why I need people like Grant Cardone in my life. And that's exactly what mentorship is, right? You guys, comfort zones suck, okay? And the thing is that everything that you like, where you feel like you need to grow is exactly like you need to dive headfirst into that, okay? So if you're someone who's looking to become more of a leader, we're going to talk about like what kind of like a leader you need to be in this business. Then I encourage you to like lean into that, right? Do do opposite of what you're doing. Listen to opposite of what you're listening to, because that's what's going to help you grow and move you forward. Okay. So everything that I'm going to talk about, the different types of coaches is referenced in that book, right? The 10X rule. So the first kinds of coaches, or the people I should say, are the do-nothingers. So, those people, like I've had a couple of them in my inbox today that they're just like, you send them an invite and they're just like really rude, right? They send you these like snarky messages back like, no thanks, or why are you messaging me? Or like, whatever you like, those people, right? The snarky messages in your inbox. Those are the do-nothingers, you guys, right? They are complacent, right? they often like just are stuck in their own boredom. Like they like to put you down to make themselves feel better about their lack of action. Your action intimidates them. Your action bugs them because it's like like I said, it's shining a light on exactly what they're not doing. So they're going to shame you all day long, right? They're going to put you down all day long because they are trying to prove themselves right for what they're doing. Okay? So it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And a lot of those people, you guys, they lack purpose, right? So these are coaches that often like don't even get started, right? They're people that won't even dip their toe. They're people that won't even go for it, won't even try for coaching because they're just so stuck in their own, limiting beliefs, right? They're stuck in that negative ego mindset. So you don't want to be like that. But the next kind of coach is the retreaters. So these are the people that you probably know these people, or maybe you've been with this person. And I've definitely been this person. Like, actually, I think I was this person for a really long time. I was, being that person that's afraid of success, but they're not just afraid of success, but they're massively afraid of rejection, right? Maybe you've had failures in the past. There are people that have had failures in the past, and they let those experiences affect their ability to take steps forward, to take leaps into the, out of their comfort zone, into the unknown, it alters their future. They blame, like, well, I'm just not cut out for this because I did that one thing before and I wasn't good at it. So I must just not be good for this. Or, oh, well, my coach, she wasn't there for me, or she didn't plug me into the right training, or she didn't put me in her challenge group. So, that's why I'm not successful, right? These are the people that are the retreaters. They're always justifying why they're not successful. And those people are often going to quit, right? They're going to come in and they're going to do a little bit, they're really excited in the beginning, but then one hiccup comes, one trigger happens and then they're out of here because it triggers their past failure, their past fear of rejection or whatever. And they justify why and they get out. And then the next one is probably like what a lot of coaches are. Okay. A lot of coaches that are, I myself, I think have been harboring here for the last 6 months is in the averagers. Okay. So the averagers think whatever they're doing is acceptable as long as it's working, right? If it's working, they're fine with it. It's good. They only act when they feel threatened by risk, right? So everyone, like, I'm sure you can think of a situation where like you were hustling, like end of the month, we're at Success Club and you just like went balls to the wall and you hustled and then you got, Success Club in like the last 24 hours of the month. Imagine like what would happen if you actually applied that same energy throughout the whole month. When you think about it like that, like the averager is only going to act when they feel like something's being threatened, when their achievements are threatened. That's when they act. They're not using their full potential. But that's a very shaky business. That's a house of cards waiting to fall down, right? When you build your business that way, when you're just accepting what works, you're just accepting just enough, right? So that's where a lot of coaches live, get to Success Club, ride it out, get to Success Club, just enough, right? just so they can be on that board, get that recognition, get that next month, get that, go to that Success Club trip, right? But what you really want to be, you guys, is a 10Xer. You want to be that person that isn't concerned about other people. You're not concerned about what Susie or Sally say to you. You're not concerned about that nothinger in your inbox that's, trying to make you feel less than, right? You think of this as a duty. You show up every day, and even if you don't feel like it, this is your duty, right? It's your duty to yourself to press play, to eat well, to listen to personal development. It's your duty to figure out if you're not feeling good, what do you got to do to get there? What do you got to change? What do you got to tweak? Something's not working in your business. Well, it's your duty to figure it out, right? Your coaches need mentoring. It's your duty to figure it out. It's your duty to serve, right? You have this mentality of, I have to make it work. Not that I have to, in the sense, there is no other option. There is no plan B. This is plan A all the way, every day. And as Grant Cardone talks about in his book, is 10Xers, obsessed people, successful people, they're not seen as normal, right? Those are the people that other people sit back and they kind of judge from the sidelines, because what they're doing is so above average, right? Their actions seem crazy to other people, but that's exactly the kind of you don't want that other person's life, though, do you? The way I think about it is when I was working full time, and my coworkers, they just didn't get, whenever they'd ask me why I was kind of tired that day, they come in, they're tired regardless. Doesn't matter how many cups of coffee they've had. They're exhausted. And I come in and they'll ask me oh, why do you want to go, why do you want to go home, Amy? Or why are you tired today, Amy? And I tell them, because I got up at 3 a.m. that morning to do my workout, or I got up at 4 a.m. that morning to do my, I started my day at 4. And they look at me like I'm freaking batshit crazy. But what they didn't get, and they'll never understand, is the draw, the obsession of that, going after that something more, they didn't need to get it. I got it. I knew what I was working for and showing up for every day. I had to make it work attitude. I treated this like a duty, right? But then what happens sometimes, you guys, is we have to catch ourselves. We have to be able to call ourselves out and recognize these our actions, right? We have to be able to have that gut check. And like I said, I totally think that this is something that's just going to happen. But what you're always going to want to strive for is to come back to that 10X mentality. Know that you are absolutely capable of this 10X mentality, but it all starts with your mindset. It all starts with you going back and falling in love with the art of what we do, right? If you just are so in love with the fact that you get to show up every day and pour into yourself, if you truly look at this and think of this as this beautiful gift that you get to do and share with other people, what the grit, or I think hustle is such a negative connotation with it, but the hard work that you're going to put into this day in and day out, it's not going to feel like something you have to do in a negative way. It's going to feel because you're going to know it's leading to something so much more. You're going to understand the impact of what it's actually doing, what it's creating in your life and the life of others, So when it comes to your mindset, I want you to think about the self-limiting beliefs that you have going on in your head right now, because this is something that tripped me up. I thought, like that I talked about this today. I was doing a new coach training today and I was talking about vision. And I talked about this today, and it's funny because like this is exactly what happened this last year. When I first started this business, all my big vision was to pay off my credit card debt. When I first started coaching, my big goal, like I didn't think beyond. I had the inkling thought of what if I could like step back from nursing, or what if I could go do this full time. But I didn't really believe it was possible. But what I just knew, like I saw people doing, and I knew I could pay off my credit card debt. Like that was my big vision. That was my big goal. And then I accomplished it. And like every time you accomplish something, it's like like you're going to accomplish it. So it's on to the next vision. You have to keep continuously growing and expanding your vision, expanding your goals. So like, it's like I paid off the debt, and then I was able to go per diem. And then it was like, okay, well now like I wanted to go full time and, get our house and all this stuff. And it's like, but every time you reach this new level, you guys, your belief has to expand with it. Like your confidence has to grow with it. And if there's ever an imbalance, that's where you're going to feel off track. That's where your ego is going to slip in. Speed of the leader, speed of the pack. Well, it's the same thing with you. Like you can't just like, shoot up these huge goals. But if you don't believe that you actually can accomplish them, then you might as well not, it's like throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks. You have to have your belief match your action. Belief match your vision. Okay. So when it comes to your self-limiting beliefs, like what are some self-limiting beliefs that you feel like are holding you back right now? Because I will share with you guys, if you can write it in the chat, and I'll share with you guys the one that I wrote down. Yeah, that I don't have what it takes to go full time. Yes. Definitely have been there. Failing, sitting at Emerald forever. Shannon, you're not going to sit at Emerald forever. But it's true. Like we get in this mindset, like, I laugh at that, but it's so easy for all of us to think that way, right? You guys are typing yours in. I'll share with you. Pretty similarly, I said that, I'm not achieving enough to be a top coach. No one is going to respect me, so they won't want to follow me. That's pretty much what's been playing over in my head these last few months. And it wasn't until, honestly, it's been a multitude of things that have helped me work through that. But sitting in that Super Saturday, listening to Ashley, it was like, even top coaches, you guys, have limiting beliefs. And even Rachel Hollis, has self-limiting beliefs that still hold her back. Every time you rise, you're going to have new self-limiting beliefs come up, right? You hit Emerald, you're going to have a self-limiting belief about hitting Diamond. You hit Diamond, you're going to have self-limiting belief about hitting 2-star. You hit 2-star, you're going to have self-limiting belief about hitting Elite. you have one coach, you're going to have self-limiting belief about getting another coach. You know what I mean? Like, you have to understand that this is an escalator. You know, it is literally one step at a time. And you only like, but every little thing that you do is a step forward. Every positive action, every time you listen to personal development, every time you record that video, you do that training, you send that email, you send that invite, you do that follow-up, you do that post, you share that thing, whatever it is, you do that sneak peek. All of those things, you guys, are actions and moving you forward. Right? That's how you work through these self-limiting beliefs. But the other thing that you need to do, and the other thing we all need to do, is we need to turn these self-limiting beliefs into actual affirmations. It's not one thing to just say, okay, that's my self-limiting belief. Okay. No, like, we need to flip the script, right? We need to address it head on. And we need to, like, you know what I mean? It's like when you, I don't know the proper analogy, but it's like when you shine the light on the thing, it's not so scary, right? Like the dark tunnel in a dark hallway, like, it's really scary, like, or you're the basement, like, oh, I don't want to go down there. Like, so you shine the light on it, you turn the light on, and it's not scary anymore, right? It's like the fear of the thing is worse than the fear itself. But when you just like address it head on, and you turn that into an affirmation, like, that you say, like, add that to your list every day. If you don't do affirmations, something that you can do, like, in your notebook every morning, is I try to write down, like, I do this little list of like things I'm grateful for. And then I started doing this affirmation section. So I write down, like, I am a top coach and it is happening. The universe is making it happen in perfect timing. I am an amazing leader, an amazing wife, an amazing, whatever. Like, you need to write it down, and you need to do it and do it and do it again until you start to believe it. Something she talked about again, which I know we've talked about a million times, and I think a lot of you actually, you probably do this, but the importance of literally a morning routine, or just how you start your day every day. Something that I realized that I was doing, and this is something that one of the things that I changed over the last few months, was my first hour of the day, not touching my phone, not jumping right into my invites, but being really intentional about, making sure that if I needed to, waking up early enough that I gave myself that time where I could sit in gratitude, do my meditation, get my mindset, do my affirmations, feel so good, really fill my cup up before I ever opened up my phone, right? I set my nighttime mode or whatever it is, so I can't even read text till 8 a.m. Like, so I am not tempted to, all my apps are asleep until 8 a.m. because I don't want, I want to be intentional about going in and sharing my energy with others. I don't want my energy to be sucked away. So I truly challenge you to get really clear about your triggers, get really clear about your self-limiting beliefs. And the clearer you can get on them, you guys, the sooner you're going to get past them. The sooner it's going to become you're going to turn your limiting belief into your strength, because it truly can become your strength, you guys. For example, like I said, the transformation from Ashley from last year to this year, it's incredible. And I thought she was an incredible leader then, but to then see her now, it's so incredible what can happen when you just focus in on your mindset. So the last thing I want to talk about is what she shared. And this is like, it was kind of funny because we all want the secret, right? We want the secret to becoming a successful coach. And this is what she said. She said, the first thing you need to do is you need to believe that you are the most powerful person in the room. And I loved this because I never used to walk into a room and be able to like look at anybody. Like I used to walk in like classroom, a dance, the mall. It's one of those things like I've never felt confident in a room. But I can honestly tell you that it's going like the process of like going to these events and the process of coaching has helped me become that person where even if I can't honestly say I'm the most powerful or I don't feel the most powerful or confident person in the room, I feel a hell of a lot more confident now today than I did before I became a coach. But you need to walk into a room and you need to feel like you belong there, no matter what room it is, right? Where you truly like are so comfortable in your own skin. You're just so certain of who you are that it doesn't matter like where you're going or who's going to be there. You know that you are a powerful woman. You know that you are an incredible person. You are confident in who you are, all of those things that you need to like become that person, right? You need to show up for yourself today, tomorrow, forever, right? You need to again commit to falling in love with this process and commit to falling in love with the art of it all and showing up in your own journey and showing up, on like again, this is something you have to do. It's a part of who you are. Showing up is no longer an option. It's just a part of what you do. It's your duty to yourself. And then you need to stop focusing on the frill. All right. So, biggest takeaway from this weekend, biggest lesson of this last 2 months of my life was stop focusing on the frill. That's not why I love this business. The frill is not why I love this business. It's not why I fell in love with coaching. It's not what keeps me going when times get hard and people quit and, all that jazz. It's not the frill. It's the meat and potatoes of it, right? It's you guys. It's the fact that I feel so lucky that my job is literally something that's made me so aware of who I am and what I want and where I'm going and given me the tools in which I can go after that. Giving me the tools that I can work through these self-limiting beliefs that have held me back my entire life. I am so in love with that I could never, that's what keeps me going, right? I'm in love with the vision that I've created for my life and that's what I'm working towards. The frill, the things, they're going to come in time. They're going to come in their due time and they're going to come when they're meant to come. There's no doubt it's inevitable that it will happen for you, every single one of you. Everything that you want, it's going to happen as long as you focus on those things, the things that truly matter to you, not just the frill, okay? And then sharing your story. Like I said, you don't need an extravagant story, you guys. We all know the number, like maybe we all know this, but we forget it. This is something that you need to pass on and you need to breathe this into your coaches. You don't need to have some huge transformation or story. You can be vanilla, you can be boring, and that's your story, right? Be who you are and share it because that is going to connect with so many people, right? It's not going to connect with everybody. It's going to connect with the people it's meant to connect with, right? Somewhere out there is somebody that is waiting for you to share your story because they feel like a freaking weirdo. They feel like a loner and nobody gets them until someone like you shows up and they finally see themselves in you, right? So you need to share it. And you need to share it all day, every day. You're never going to share your story enough. So you guys share bits and pieces of your story every single day through your stories, on your posts, all the time. Talk about it because you never know who's listening and you never know when it's going to click with someone. You never know when that person's going to show up on your posts, on your feed, in your page, on your story, whatever. Maybe it's a coach that's, discount coach or someone, customer of yours or whatever, that's like been following you forever. And then one day it finally just clicks, right? And then don't stop shouting about your vision, right? You need to be so, and this doesn't happen overnight, but this is where you want to get, you guys. You need to be so proud of what you do. Like, it's so funny to me because like my father actually like gives me, like, we talk about business now. It's so funny, but it's just reminded me like how far I've come. I never ever would utter when I first started coaching, like I would never talk about coaching around my father. I never would talk about Beachbody or anything like that because I was so worried that he would mock me. I was so worried that I didn't want to hear what he had to say. But just to see, like, through my action of showing up in the just like I've shown him, right? It's my belief that's turned his ear. It's my belief in myself and in my business and where I'm going that has earned his respect. And that's what you need to do, you guys. Like, you own it, other people will follow. Like, if you respect yourself, other people will respect you. The do-nothingers, probably not. They're just always going to be lame, right? But the people that really matter are going to respect you, and they're going to, even the people that used to doubt, maybe they're going to come around eventually, or they're going to, eventually they'll see you like up, I don't want to say on your mountain or whatever. Yeah, because you're building this mountain. You don't even realize it. You're putting these pebbles in your pile and you're building this freaking mountain. Someday they're going to look up at you and they'll be like, damn, she freaking did it. Like, all that stuff she kept talking about, all those invites she sent me, dang, she freaking, like, look what she's done, right? So you need to own it because, you guys, you have the gift. Everyone else is missing out. We have the gift, all right? And it's selfish of us not to share it. But it's not our job to make people come along, right? We just have to be obsessed with it ourselves. We just have to own our own journey and lead with that and never stop leading with it, okay? All right, I think that's pretty much all I got. Does anybody have any questions? So I just want to say, like, I just read the last couple ones in the chat. Like, everything you guys have said, I've thought at some point, or I've thought about it recently. Like, you guys, like, and I don't mean that to sound patronizing. I mean it like, you guys, like, we're all the same, Like I think I said this like last call, or maybe like I forget, but like, I know Ashley has said this, or like, let people be the mirror for you. All these coaches that you look up to, like, instead of just comparing yourself to them, let them be the proof to you that you can do this too. Like, if you, like, because the only thing, like she said, like, the trait that they talked about at leadership, that commonality between all top coaches is they were so in love with what they do. Like, they're so in love with the vision and just in the business in itself of what it is that we get to do and how we get to duplicate and how we get to pass this on to others. Like, that's it, right? It's the people with the most passion. So if you just lead with your passion, whatever aspect of this business it is that, like, excites you the most, like, not everything is going to be pretty all the time. And I forget where I listened to this today, but like, I think it was an Elevation Church podcast where he was talking about, like, you're not going to it doesn't matter what job you have, even in your dream job, there's going to be aspects of it that you don't love. There's going to be aspects of it that you don't like to do all the time. I don't like to send invites all the time. I don't like to answer messages all the time. but I love, to be on team calls. I love to be able to impact other people. I love getting those good messages. I love being able to see people like create freedom in their life, right? I love so many other aspects of this, that those little things that I don't like, that don't feel good, it will never outweigh the stuff that does, right? So you don't focus on those things. That's why you need the vision. That's why you need to fall in love with the other stuff, the stuff, what we actually do. And then everything that's holding you back, everything, that story in your head, it's there for a reason. That belief that you're struggling with, that's going to be the key that helps you get to where you're meant to go, right? To help you become the coach that you need to be. You just need to lean into it. It's there for a reason. Like this belief that I've had in my head, it's there for a reason. It's my struggle, and it's my struggle to conquer. It's my struggle to get over. It's like your assignment. So don't think about it as this burden. Think about it as like your assignment. It's the thing that you're meant to lean into that's going to make, you're already this amazing person. And this is just one thing that's going to help you become even more incredible. It's going to be another tool in your toolbox for you to be able to, is another chapter in your story for you to share to other people. Okay. All right. That's all I got.